All these rumors are fun to talk about. And Red Bull hasn't blown up yet.
Alex Albon's birthday, and his gift, Logan Sargent's car.
With the drain covers, why is this such a big issue?
That's what I'm saying.
Alonso more and more is looking like Aaron Rodgers.
He's geriatric. We just kind of want him for merit mark.
You cannot win a constructor's battle when your second driver is not performing.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Things are getting crazy.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Lights Out Latest. My name is Marina. I'm here with Jason, Steven, and Tristan. And today we are talking all things Bahrain Grand Prix. But before that, headlines as per usual. First thing I want to talk about, FIA Deputy President of Sport, Robert Reid. He resigned. But what I find interesting about this is the reason he resigned and the statement he put out, because, guys, it's only everything we've ever said is wrong with the FIA.
Yep.
Literally.
It's finally coming to fruition.
He literally said, after deep reflection, I have made the difficult decision to resign as FIA Deputy President of Sport. I took on this role to help deliver greater transparency, stronger governance, and more collaborative leadership. Over time, those principles have been increasingly set aside, and I can no longer, in good faith, remain part of the system that no longer affects them. Stepping away was not easy. However, staying would have meant compromising what I believe in. This is about principles, not politics. Motorsports deserves leadership rooted in integrity, accountability, and respect for process. That's the minimum standard we should all expect and demand.
Yeah, well said.
Well said.
Horrible, because this is like the right-hand man of the president of the FIA.
In a re-election year.
Yeah, and he is the one that resigned, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because that person that high of power should be able to make those changes to make the FIA better.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been able to. And there's a number of high-profile resignations or being not told but highly encouraged to leave by several people. The last good firing the FIA did was Michael Massey.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty sure that when they moved him to safety coordinator, he had to manage the cones, aka he was on cleanup duty. I like to think that. But there's going to be a lot of drama in the re-election year. I know the race has covered and talked about it a lot, about potential candidates and the politics of how you run for FIA president.
Yeah.
I really hope somebody like this comes back. Apparently, he did inform all the drivers before he left. Personally told them, hey, I'm going to leave. I really tried and kind of apologized. And George was very supportive of him. He's the president of GDPA. So it's really disappointing to see the regulator of our sport go through this. And what's even more so is European law requires the FIA to not hold the commercial rights and to have F1 and Liberty Media do it.
Yeah.
So we can't just drop the FIA from F1. They own the commercial media rights. By law, F1 and the FIA need to be separate and need to work together.
Yeah.
So it's not even we could just drop these people. So it's really upsetting. Thankfully, we haven't seen any negative effects yet. F1 is still really healthy.
Yeah.
Things could change very quickly,
Yeah,
though.
I was going to say, but I think it's going that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen so many things that I think, and at some point, right, it's not just about the fans. It's about the driver safety, because that's the... the FIA is put there to keep drivers safe and to keep the sport fair.
Yes.
But at some point, we're getting to a point where it's no longer fair and it's no longer safe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's unfair yet.
Yeah. No, I'm saying we're going to get to a point. I'm not saying we're there yet, but it's going to go. I think it's going to get there. Because I think that like he said, he put it perfectly, the principles of the FIA are no longer what they used to be.
Yeah.
And we're going in a direction that's being driven by money, by fan engagement, by all the things that shouldn't drive the safety aspect of our sport.
Yeah.
You don't add protection in the NFL because the fans want it. You add it because it's safer for the players.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to stay separate. And it's not right now. And I think that's the problem. That's the key to all of this. It's we need to make sure that the FIA is very much separate from anything financial and anything fan-wise.
Well,
it's got to be strictly drivers, teams, It's not. It's never going
any
to
other
be.
sport we know in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like NASCAR, they just run their own show. NFL, they run their own show.
Which comes with its own set of problems.
IndyCar,
Yeah.
IndyCar is a total mess because
I would
Penske
say.
owns tracks, Penske's own teams. Penske
It's a
owns the
Penske
series.
dictatorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's been interesting to watch how they dealt with that. Thankfully, there's no money in IndyCar, so there's no real incentive
no
to
money
cheat
in
the
IndyCar.
system.
It's not a big deal if IndyCar doesn't pan out.
Yeah, so it's like
It's all good.
well, what I'm saying is like there's no incentive to cheat the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, while in
You're not losing much.
F1 there's literally
Yeah.
hundreds of millions, if not billions, considering sponsorship
Yeah.
and everything else at stake. So
I mean, if you think about it, it's a billion-dollar sport.
I mean, they're
After
worth
you-
like 19 billion on the stock market right now.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
after you. That's the value, right? Like that's after you pay everyone. Think about how much money actually comes in,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
mean,
not 19 billion. It's definitely a lot more than that.
No,
No, literally.
it's over 3 billion of how much revenue they make.
So, it really, it's got there. We've got to find a better way, because it's. I don't think this is the way.
I just think we have bad leaders, FIA. If they do their job, we should never hear about them. And that's what it was like.
Absolutely.
with
That is
the
John
goal.
Talt. That would, like John Talt was perfect. Never heard about him.
Yeah.
Yep.
I vote Susie Wolf.
I think that wouldn't be a bad option.
electric. I would like that a lot.
I would like
think
it.
everyone would be happy with that.
We just gotta work out the conflict of interest.
Or better
that's all.
yet, Robert Reid. I like this guy.
I think he might run. Maybe
I've-
that's why he left.
Yeah, I've heard of this man's name all of one time when he
Mm.
left the FIA, and that, like you said, is a good thing. I didn't have to deal with him, and the drivers seem to like him, and I think that's important because no one likes Muhammad.
I think Susie's the most realistic candidate, but also like
She's the most realistic to run. 'Cause
yeah, because she's running a series right now.
Yeah.
So
He has
well,
experience.
yeah, I was gonna
She
say
does.
I don't know, and
She's
also
got the
just she is
resume
a
to back her
household
up.
name, I guess
A
you could
lot
say.
better of a resume than Muhammad.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
A
He-
14-time in quotation marks rally champion.
In the tiniest rally section.
Yeah, like 3 people are competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm better than the 3 other people I was competing against. Congratulations. Anyways, if we don't have any thoughts on that, anything to add?
Not really. I mean,
Alright.
just gotta keep conflict of interest clean.
This guy,
that's all.
Yeah.
this guy was literally second in command, right? Or am I?
Yeah.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. I was just
Basically.
curious about the role.
Yeah. Let's talk about pasta.
Yeah.
I like pasta. I like tortellini a lot. It's my favorite one.
Barilla was just announced this week as the official pasta of Formula One, which
Sweet.
I really love when they do these kind of things where it's
Yeah.
like the official this of Formula One or of like any sport for that matter. How many do we have? We have tons.
American sports do it a ton.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I know the Philadelphia Eagles have like the official supermarket of the Philadelphia
Philadelphia
Eagles.
Eagles.
Like
Is that
stuff
why
like
it's-
that, you know.
they're
The
right?
official
No, I
hoagie
think
of
it's
the Philadelphia
Acme.
Phillies.
It's either Acme or Giant.
I think it is Acme.
It might be Acme.
Acme.
Not too sure.
Not Acme.
We don't have many Weisses near Philadelphia.
Nah.
Um,
Giants far superior anyway.
There you go.
but yeah, I just think I think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Who was telling me? Was it Steven? Were you the one telling me something about the?
F1 connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Jason were talking about it. I mean, I think Jason could probably speak more to it,
Yeah,
but there
one
is
of
an
the-
F1 connection
The
there.
co-founders, like Mr. Barilla, one of the co-founders of Barilla, actually raced for Minardi, in I think either the late
serious?
80s or early 90s.
Yeah.
Like
It wasn't great or anything, but
no,
he was
I mean,
there.
It was also Minardi. Minardi kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So it was cool. A nice connection. We got a great. Anybody see Nico Rosberg's Twitter post?
I did
No.
not.
No.
It was like him saying, "Wow, Brilla is amazing," and he has the smallest portion of pasta you could ever eat. It's like tiny. It's like he has a
One
massive
singular
plate,
noodle.
huge bowl, and then in it is like barely fist size full of pasta, like very small. amount.
Less than a
Incredible.
serving
So
size.
yeah, so it looks like he doesn't like it because they have the absolute smallest amount there. It's like you're not gonna boil that much pot. Where'd the rest of it go?
His
Like,
kids.
Oh my God, you're not kidding.
yeah,
Wow.
You see,
I bet you that costs like $100 too.
it's Barilla. It doesn't.
Well, that's
Now,
true.
if he bought the Nico Rosberg Equal Machinery edition, then it's really expensive.
Ooh.
But
Do you think there's any world in which we get branded boxes?
we already have.
Ooh.
Well, because you're a sports sponsor, I don't know. We might just get a tagline that says "Official Pasta of F1."
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
We're not getting a Lewis Hamilton
Yeah,
pasta.
the Perilla.
No, I don't say no. I'm not. I don't mean
Ferrari
like
edition.
a Lewis Hamilton pasta, but you know, like Simone Biles, how they have like the Simone Biles box, or like when we have Red. Red Bull's a little different, but there's the
I guess
normal
they
Red
could
Bulls
feature
and there's the Red
drivers.
Bulls
Does-
with
Let's just say-
drivers
Yeah,
on
does
them.
Barilla make shaped pasta? Because you could do like race
Yeah.
car
Yeah,
pasta.
I want my
Let's
Yeah.
let's
I
let's make Barilla like Wheaties and
I'm about
have
to-
like drivers on it.
I'm gonna go on the Barilla website and see what kind of pasta they got.
I think they got like all kinds of
I
pasta.
don't know, man.
got
I
a
want
lot
to
of
see.
pasta.
If they do the shaped, then I'm expecting a race car shaped.
There you go. It's on the
pasta.
front page.
Oh,
Another-
there it was.
yeah.
Hold on.
Beautiful.
Look at that. Wow. Barilla. You guys are stepping. This is awesome.
That's what I'm saying. I would really love a
What happens when speed
Like-
meets taste? I don't know. Nico Rosberg.
You tell me, I guess.
oh Brittany, man.
Brittany.
Yeah, these are real serving sizes on their website. They have like a bunch of people in driver racing suits around a table.
Yeah, I saw that.
But then you look at Nico Rosberg and it's like,
So clearly I don't like pasta, but that's okay, guys.
got
You love
Salsa.
mac and
Still-
cheese. That's a type of pasta.
No, not me. I'm talking about Nico.
Oh.
I really
Oh.
like
I
mac
was
and
gonna
cheese,
say.
but that's a very
So that's
American
your favorite
staple.
pasta.
Probably,
Monica
yeah.
Gray.
Okay.
Based YouTuber.
So we got tortellini. Mac and cheese would be, the macaroni.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, if it's just like pasta in general,
Yeah.
probably fettuccine.
Fettuccine,
or
okay.
linguine.
Anybody else have any really strong emotions? We
Uh,
want Barilla to sponsor the podcast, so we got to get on this.
I mean,
actually, yes, only Barilla.
Only
Bar-
Barilla.
I don't know.
I
I like the
actually
bow
only
ties.
buy Barilla, and
We're
we
just
talked
talking about how amazing Barilla was.
we talked
Like,
about
we had the Masters on. We were watching the end of the Masters, and we couldn't even focus on it because we are debating which type of Barilla pasta is the best.
Yeah.
Like angel hair or spaghetti. I don't know.
It was a big debate.
It was
it
massive.
was a big debate.
Steven
But-
and Jason almost got into it.
But
Yeah.
what we
But-
all agreed upon is that Barilla is the very best.
Yes.
Yes.
And it
Of
just so
course.
happens they sponsor F1 now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just found out actually right before recording.
It's the
this.
pinnacle of motorsport and the
Boom.
pinnacle of pasta.
Look at that.
Well said.
Now we're talking
Well said.
alliteration. Now we're bringing it to full scale. Barilla,
Sponsor us.
we'll do good for you.
All right. Speaking of people that just did not do good, man, Nico Hulkenberg had
Oh.
a week end. Nico Hulkenberg kind of screwed a lot of people this weekend. One of which is himself because he was disqualified. We'll talk about that later. I want to talk about quali. His lap time was deleted. Again, we're going back. We're going full circle back to the FIA. 45 minutes after he set the time.
Yeesh.
In what world is that okay?
Well, that's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
No.
It's the FIA's fault. This
Yes.
is where I said it. We're coming full circle. Why? Like, you quite literally have nothing else to do but monitor lap deletions during qualifying.
That's pretty much it.
As long as the graphics are working.
That's not the FIA though. That's not their problem.
No, I know. I'm just.
But we can talk about how the graphics this weekend. I mean, this
Take
is the
a breath,
nicest way
Marina.
possible.
Take a breath. Take a
F1
breath.
TV needs a new technical director and a new director and a new graphics operator, because it's horrible. It's just truly very, very bad. The amount of times, like, Judge, I don't know if anybody
It's
caught
always
this.
been like this. It's even back in
No,
2017.
it's
It was
worse than
horrible.
normal.
No.
It's
Watch
worse
the
than normal.
2017 Australian Grand Prix. Horrible. There's
you
so many
catch-
color mix-ups.
Did you catch George Russell dropping from second to like 11th?
Well, that I think was a transponder issue because you heard they also had issues with the DRS.
Yes. He
and
had
multiple drivers said like, "Hey, be sure you're within range before you press the DRS."
yes.
I
That's a
think
whole
that
different
must have been a
story. But I'm just
technology
saying.
issue.
I'm just
EM
saying.
Motorsport supplies those sensors. I don't think it was the FIA.
I don't think it
Or
was
F1.
either. I'm saying F1 TV and their graphics
no,
were
but
terrible.
still, it wasn't that. It was the transponders.
But that was one specific. I was in between specific and particular. It was one specific issue. I'm just saying, like, in general, they were very bad, and people are not happy. Also, like, the amount of overtakes we missed,
Yeah.
like, they only showed in a replay after the fact Max's overtake on Pierre Gasly in the last lap. There was nothing else happening.
I mean, that's a tough deal, though, because look at any race finish ever. And, I mean, unless if there's a battle for P2, the hard cut to, like, a back of the pack. I mean, that wasn't back of the pack, but still,
That was,
like
for sixth.
yeah, but sixth
And
was
it's your
how far
reigning
off
world
of first
champion.
place? I mean,
Well, that's my point, though. They've panned to Oscar, and they have plenty of time to pan back to Max and show that.
no, I agree with you,
Or
but
at the very least, show the replay before you go through everything else, because it
Yeah.
was so delayed.
the replay would have been
No
nice
one saw it.
afterwards, like, quicker. But I'm just saying is, like, 99% of the time, if there isn't much battle for P2 or P3, that camera stays fixed on the P1 driver.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know? Like, it's not all the time. Granted, you know, like, I think one of the greatest camera cuts ever was when, I don't know who won the race, but Pierre Gasly was racing Lewis Hamilton to the line in Brazil, I'm pretty sure.
I remember Checo racing Alonso to the line.
No, this was when it was like P2. I can't remember. I expected you guys to get me there. Like tell me exactly who it was.
Well, I don't remember.
Guys.
I remember.
Guys.
I don't remember if it was Brazil. I think it was Coda.
No, it was
I'm not talking
Brazil.
about yours. I'm talking about mine. Mine was Sergio Perez, and I think it was Fernando Alonso raced for P2 in I think it was Coda. We were watching this race together, so maybe it
I
wasn't
will
Coda.
figure this out. Yeah, drag finish 2019 Brazil. Yeah.
Who and who?
It was Hamilton versus Pierre Gasly.
Yes.
Gasly was racing
For
for
second?
Racing Bulls. Yeah. For P2, because I think Max won. I can't remember.
Probably.
I don't know.
2019?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Valtteri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing with like going back to like the Nico Hülkenberg thing, it just pisses me off because he made it through. It was the difference for Alex Albon between Q1 knockout and Q2. Like he would have made it through to Q2.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different like thing. That's why qualifying in particular is so important for them to be on it with lap time deletions, because that was the difference. Like they ended up, because his lap time was deleted, they ended up moving him back to P16 anyways. He started 16th on the grid.
Yeah.
And that's the official qualification, was him 16th. But that put Alex 15th. And that would have put him through to Q2, and he could have gone to Q3 because, like, Carlos was there.
Right.
Carlos was in Q3. So it really changed his entire qualifying and then his entire race at a race like today. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, Jack Doohan had quite a good qualifying.
Finally.
Finally.
He was in, what, third?
He was
Third at one
third.
point.
He was P11.
No, but he was third at one point.
What was it? Yeah, where was
Oh,
he
he
at in
was
Q1?
He was pretty decent in Q1.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
was top 10. I can't remember where.
Yeah, I think
though.
he was like third or fourth or something
Yeah.
like that.
Put in a really good time in the first
did.
Q.
I think it's important for rookies in Q1 to be given the opportunity to go out on that second soft and really push it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, well, especially if you're back of the pack.
Yeah.
Because then you like get Q1, maybe Q2.
But then again, it's like weird because I think the Alpine is weird because like
Pierre Gasly
had a great
fourth.
weekend. Yeah, and
Started fourth.
his pace was consistent. Like he didn't finish fourth, but he didn't finish too far off.
7th, I think.
Yeah, 7th place. So like the
Yeah.
Alpine's pace was fine. So like you assumed Doohan would also
Gasly,
kind of match
you
it.
saw what he did.
Pierre Gasly is an epic driver.
Yeah,
He's crazy.
he's a solid driver.
He's epic.
Doesn't deserve to
I
be in that
love-
crappy car, but
Yeah, but where else is he going to go? Not to get into this
Cadillac.
conversation.
There you go.
I don't think so.
no.
Maybe.
I
Perez
can't
is
wait.
the
I mean,
only-
that's like looking so far in the future. I can't wait to see who
It's
drives for
next
that
year.
team. Well, I know that's like
You could sign a driver today.
yeah, I
Yeah,
guess so.
technically
I guess you
speaking,
could
we are
they
just-
could make that
Perez could be
announcement.
back. Perez
No
back.
shot.
Nah.
No shot.
Perez back.
We're going on
No
such
shot.
a tangent.
Mick, maybe.
No.
Perez-
Wow, that's
Perez
crazy.
has so much better chance than Mick. Mick
Mick
just crashed the car. Perez, he kept that on the road. It's only.
I think mixed
What races are you
detachment.
talking about?
I'm talking about the decade-long career, more than a decade-long career
Decade-long
Perez
career.
had, and multiple wins and podiums.
Also, imagine Perez being able to set up the car the way he wants it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Very
Yeah.
true.
And also, I think actually mixed detachment from the sport for this long would inhibit him.
Yeah.
I think he would be more of a rookie now, maybe, than he would be then.
Yeah.
Be like
Potentially.
Fair enough.
It'd be like putting Liam Lawson in a Red Bull.
Especially with the engine regs next
It's
year.
almost like we already did that.
So,
Well, look how that turned out.
Hey,
Degrees
Yuki's,
part 2.
Yuki had a good.
Yeah,
good
Yuki
weekend.
did well.
He did have a good weekend. Solid
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. First Red Bull points that are not Max Verstappen this year.
Since, what was it? No, but isn't it since even like
No, I think Perez was P10.
No. I think it's definitely saw that.
2024
No.
Vegas, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
since Vegas 2024.
Yeah.
I thought he was P10 in Abu Dhabi,
No.
but maybe I'm just
No, he
crazy.
crashed in Abu Dhabi. Perez, this is his last start. He crashed in like lap 2 or 3.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
First
remember
non-Max Red Bull points.
Because we
since
crapped on him
Vegas.
so hard the week before, and then he just wrecks. We're like, yeah, dude, pack it up.
Pack it
Put
up.
the fries in the bag.
Fries in the bag is crazy.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I don't see him coming back. First of all, that's Perez. Yuki, I think, did good because that car is so hard. We talked about it for weeks. That car is impossible. Max had so much trouble with that car
Yeah.
this weekend where it was like undrivable. all he
Yeah.
did was complain all weekend long in the radio, which was really entertaining, actually, because he gets, like, pissy. Did you guys catch during the race where he goes, what did he say? We literally talked about this. Did we not get, like, a text about this? Hold on, guys. What did he say?
Remember.
He talks about, like, everyone being, he was like, everything's hot, including me.
Oh, yes. We talked about
who
this.
was getting overheating?
Max. Max was
that
overheating.
Max. Oh,
And
Oscar
then-
lost his drinks bottle too. I remember
Yes,
that.
he did.
Oscar, you may not have to drink.
He may not have the drink.
The drink is not with this one.
So, like, I want to talk about the Mercedes fumble, because it was arguably their only fumble of the weekend, because they actually slayed. But,
Well,
penalty for leaving their pits before it was announced the session resumed. I feel as though this is something we should, like, this is, like, kindergarten level.
yeah, that's kind
That
of
was,
like
the stupidest penalty you could get besides starting outside of your grid box as a race driver.
the way I see that is anyone here that's played baseball or understands baseball is like waiting for an outfielder to catch a ball so that you can advance. Like, you know, you have to stay on the base and just wait until he catches it so that then you can move on.
Yeah.
It's like rule number 1 in baseball. You learn
Yeah.
to time that, and you learn to understand you can't advance. You have to tag back.
Yeah.
That's what this reminds me of, is that it's like, come on, like, it's not hard to understand exactly when you need to leave the pit or when you're
Yeah.
allowed to. Fundamentally, is that a communication issue? Because, like,
I doubt it.
I don't
think it
know.
was
Is that a
just
visual thing? Like, do they visually understand that, like, or is that somebody on the radio telling them, all right, the session, you can go? You know what I mean?
Well, it's like-
I don't understand on that end.
What
Like,
I
who
don't
tells
get-
them?
well, usually, like, it's a message from the FIA.
Yeah.
But-
But does that go to the drivers, or does that go to their engineer? And the
Well,
engineer
but
tells
the
them?
drivers don't just drive out.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So, like, I guess at the end of the day, yeah, maybe it's a team communication
Yeah,
issue.
like, they wouldn't just go. Like, I don't think
But
they're that
also-
dumb.
But also, whoever let them leave
Yeah.
should have known that he had to wait for the all clear to say the session is being resumed.
Yeah. All those goofy goobers on those teams that don't do anything in between those sessions, you could just stand, one of them could just stand in front of the car until it's time to go.
Yeah, same with
It's
that
almost like one of
car
them
would be
do.
pretty sick.
Yeah.
Red Bull could have used that. No, I can lie.
With the lollipop guy. Get the lollipop guy back.
They needed him.
There you
They
go.
needed the
They
lollipop
really did
guy.
need him,
There
man.
you go. That's all it is.
Even who was it? Martin Brundle, who was talking about it. He was like, "We need the lollipop guy back, guys."
Dude, everybody wants him back. Jason's starting this movement. He wants it back.
Tuesday, I'm gonna like debate.
Debate? Are you gonna debate yourself?
Give me anybody in F1. I'll
Jason
debate it.
Ward.
Mercedes made this crucial mistake, and here's how it can be fixed.
This stupid long pole with a sign at the end.
Max
Oh my
Verstappen could have
God.
won
What's even
this
better
race,
is you just
except for
smack
this.
around the drivers if they don't listen.
There you go.
Because now you have a pole, so you can like slap them
Bam.
on the head.
You whack them in their head as they
Yeah,
go
exactly,
past.
exactly.
It's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Like with the lights, you could just drive through the lights. That thing, oh yeah,
You get
serious
hit.
force.
Oh god.
There are
No.
penalties. There's
Yes.
you know.
No.
It's
No.
very true. Very true.
Okay, I want to move this conversation to both the race, but also chronic fumbler number 1, Lando Norris.
Steven
Oh,
is
he left.
exiting the podcast.
He left.
He
But
is
he
sick
did.
and tired of it.
He has no excuse.
You cannot deny the
Steven,
facts.
drop some bars, brother. Get in here, brother.
Yeah, I would like you to defend your point
Tap
before
in.
I absolutely
Fix that mic.
annihilate him.
There is nothing to say.
George Russell, tier 1 driver.
George Russell. Oh, now
So-
she's getting flanked on 2 sides.
So, okay, I will give you this, right?
Whoa.
George Russell, tier 1 consistency driver.
Mm-hmm.
We can meet in the middle
How
here.
we?
So consistent.
Hmm.
Third, fifth, second.
What's
That's
the
hella
championship
consistent.
standings?
He's
in
like 4th, I think.
constructors?
Ooh, is he in play for the win?
No. But
He's 63.
Bang!
he's not in play for the win.
I totally is.
No, he's
Yes,
not.
he is.
No,
as of
he's
right now,
not.
100%. Hell, even Antonelli with 30 is technically in the
Driver
play.
standings.
They're all in
He's
play,
only-
but let's be so for real.
Wow.
Let's be for real.
I would
Okay.
genuinely
He's only
consider
14
Russell.
points back.
Genuinely would
George
consider
I
Russell.
Russell.
It
would
could be easier.
genuinely say that I would put more money on George Russell than Lando Norris. but I still don't think George
That's
is in contention.
crazy.
What Norris
So let's-
is in the
let's
lead.
back-
We got to talk about the hating at some point.
Okay,
We
the
got-
hating
Can we have an
is so
intervention,
real.
please? Can we have an intervention?
Okay, so like you come into the season as the number one, the number one person to win the world championship. Everyone's betting on you. You have the fastest car by far, and you qualify P6, which is barely like a tenth ahead of Max, who was in the probably one of the worst cars in that qualifying session. It was at least the fourth fastest car this weekend, for sure. Then, not only that, but you start outside of your grid box and get a 5-second penalty.
Fumble.
Then, you fumble so hard that you finally go and overtake someone, except for then you lock up and they overtake you again. And then, that keeps going and going and going. Like, bruh. And your teammate drives out in the distance, winning by like 20 seconds.
See, but I really, you make a valid point, but clean air is so freaking important.
When was the last time you saw Max Verstappen make a genuine Max Verstappen mistake? Not a car
I'm
did
not talking,
this.
now you just
See,
leapfrogged
this-
exactly
this
what I was
is-
talking
when
about.
was
You
the last
I didn't get to
time-
finish
This
my
is what
thought,
happened.
When
and
was
you
the
bring
last
up
time
Max
you saw Lewis
Verstappen.
Hamilton make a mistake?
She's still doing it. I didn't get to finish
See,
my
see,
thought.
This is what she does. She
What
takes
the hell?
Lando Norris and compares it to
Clean
Tom
air
Brady.
is so important.
But you
you
want
think-
him to win a world championship.
Yeah,
you
he
have to
needs
compare
be
him to
Tom
world
Brady.
champions.
He needs to be Tom Brady.
If
No,
you
you
wanna-
can compare him to Nick Foles. He won a world championship once. Like, I
Are you
mean,
saying Norris is a backup?
oh.
Whoa. I mean, I am, but
Oh,
sure.
I don't agree with that.
He's P2 driver at McLaren, in my opinion.
That's
That
crazy.
is false.
They will never put him there.
He's equal.
He's equal, but like he's 1B, not 1A.
What?
Absolutely. There is no doubt.
He
Listen,
almost won the championship last
to
year.
quote my grandma,
and he's in the lead right now.
to quote my grandmother,
Who's a Lewis Hamilton fan?
If there's
Who's
a
a Lewis
1A,
Hamilton fan?
1B, it's at Ferrari right now.
Oscar Piastri does not have blood in his veins. He has ice. That
How
man,
many championships has your grandma won?
actually, F1,
Okay, now we're asking the
none,
questions.
But like in a Fiat, probably at least one. I
And I've
think.
won
I
a
don't
drag
know,
race
man.
in a 2024 Toyota Corolla.
Listen, Oscar Piastri is more skilled than Lando Norris, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
False.
When was the last time Oscar Piastri dominated a race? Lando Norris dominated a race the way Oscar Piastri did. It doesn't exist.
Miami.
Miami? Are you joking? That was
Hungary.
he was handed that win
He should've
by a
won
safety
Hungary.
car,
Can we also talk about
Did he
the
win
first
Hungary?
race of the season?
which he didn't dominate.
Didn't dominate, but he sure did show all his cards.
I'm not saying that he's not decent, that he's not good, that he's not a
It
good.
sure sounds like it. You called him Nick Foles, and look
I
what Nick
did not
Foles
call
is
him
doing
Nick
today.
Foles.
Oh,
I
yes,
called him
you
Nick
did.
Foles.
You called him
He's
Nick Foles. My point is that Oscar Piastri is the first repeat winner of the year. Most of Oscar
We saw what
Piastri's
happened in
wins have been
2022.
when he drives away.
We saw what happened in 2022.
What about it?
Well, Claire was running away with the championship, just like Oscar looks like to be now.
But Oscar's not even leading the championship, so you can't make
That's
that
what
claim.
I mean. I don't know how you could say Oscar is better.
Because Oscar made one mistake, and it's the only reason why he's
All right, yeah,
lower
this
than
race he's better.
Lando.
It's also a tough deal because Oscar is
Lando's made 3
inherited.
I
mistakes.
was gonna say,
this
yeah,
race.
we're also 3 races into the season.
Yeah,
Let's put that in
Oscar.
perspective.
Oscar has
4.
also
4
inherited
races,
the good
my bad.
McLaren car that Lando had to deal with for quite a few years. That it was not good.
So why is that Oscar's problem?
It's not Oscar's problem. I'm
Oscar-
just saying is
this
I
is
feel
his-
like you're inheriting you're taking Oscar for what it is, right? Whereas I think you have harbored disinterest towards Lando because he's had a couple bad years
Disinterest.
and in a car that was not that great.
I'm not judging.
And then the
Lando
kid gets a
Norris.
good car
Okay.
and he's not performing, he's not winning every single race. That's your
Okay,
problem.
Okay.
He's not.
You're expecting a Max
no.
Verstappen,
Yeah, I was gonna
whereas
say,
it's
I am.
like
the problem.
but that's crazy.
Max Verstappen is a proven champion. If you are saying that you think Lando Norris is going to win and deserves to win this championship, you have to compare him to champions, and he's not performing
but
like
you
one.
don't
But
have
I
to
do think
compare him to the
Oscar
second
is.
greatest driver of all time.
I mean, he's outperformed. What can we talk
You don't
about
have to do
last
that.
year? I mean, he
Second? I think third, but okay.
Top 3 still.
Fourth.
that's still wild.
yeah. I mean,
I think I'm not comparing them based on anything but this year. I don't care about what happened last year. Every year is a new year. Last year, Max Verstappen was beating everyone by miles in the championship by this time of the year. It's only 4 races in. That's not happening this year. No one is like running away with it.
That's
and
because
yet,
all the teams are
and
so
yet,
close.
look at the Constructors' Championship. Look at the Constructors, 151 to 93. And we're 4 races in. You mean to tell me they're not going to run away with it in the Constructors? If you win a Constructors by hundreds of points, which is what I think they're going to do, you can't turn around and have your driver qualifying 6th and then barely making it up to the top 3.
So,
That's true.
in head-to-head stats for seasons in which both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have competed
Lando
together,
is definitely ahead of Oscar.
Lando's ahead of Oscar in every single category.
Correct.
Fastest
How
laps,
many
podiums,
seasons-
wins,
How many
points,
seasons
total
has Lando Norris
poles.
been in F1?
Yeah, but now you're backing up to the argument I just had. It was a worse car. It's honestly strange to compare it.
But I'm not
F1's such a
comparing their-
technological sport.
I'm
It's
not
like
comparing their
it's
stats.
rough.
I'm not comparing their stats because in stats.
But now we're talking stats. You just asked how long he was in the sport.
No, I said you're comparing more time. You're giving Lando, 3 years before Oscar even got there? More than that, four or 5, to get up to speed with a McLaren car and get into a McLaren, integrate into a McLaren team, and then you're bringing in Oscar Piastri and comparing them from day 1 for Oscar and day God knows how many for Lando.
Yeah, sure, but it seems like Piastri got the
I'm-
hang of it pretty quickly.
I'm picking Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri this year with this car, with this team, and I'm taking Oscar Piastri 9 times out of 10. That is my point. That is all I'm saying.
I'll say
I'm not
this.
calling Lando Norris a bad
If-
driver. I'm saying his teammate is outperforming him.
If
in
Lando
raw
was more
pace.
affordable in fantasy, I'd rather take Lando over
Lando.
Piastri.
That's a hot take.
I mean, I
That's
don't
a hot
know.
take.
He's cheaper than Oscar. You
It's a
wouldn't take
tough deal.
Lando?
I understand. Like,
No, if they were the same price, who would you take? They were
Lando.
exactly-
I would take Lando.
I would take Oscar. That's all my point. That's my only point. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. No one has to agree with me.
No, that's the whole point.
I am
it's
saying
a,
that in
yeah.
my personal opinion, if I could have put money on it at the beginning of the season, I would have put money on Oscar Piastri winning the championship if I knew what I knew now. Because he's showing that he's consistently good.
Well, the tough
Look
deal
at
is that I
Australia.
agree with you. Like, meaning, like, I see what you're saying, and it
I think
makes
he's just as
sense.
good.
Like, you're not wrong. You're spot on right.
He's
But
just as
I
good
just,
and
like-
he's stronger mentally.
I don't
Nah.
know, because I don't
He's
know.
just as good in the car and he's stronger mentally. And that's going to take him over the edge, in my opinion. That's going to put him in contention. And this is, I've talked about this and I want to branch off because I don't want to talk about him the whole time. But one of the
Yes,
things,
you do.
one of the things,
Yes,
I,
you do.
No, I don't. I'm a Max Verstappen fan. I want to get his name out of my mouth. One of the things that me and Steven talked about yesterday, if one of the two drivers were to pull ahead significantly, and I'm saying like Oscar, or for your benefit, Lando has 2 or 3 race wins on Oscar. Like in terms of points, he's probably like 40, 50 points ahead. At what point is McLaren picking one, or are they not? Because in my opinion, with a driver of the capabilities of Max Verstappen and the capabilities of Lando Norris up your ass, you got to pick one. Because they're just taking points off each other. That's the only reason Max is still, in my opinion, and still will be for the foreseeable future, in contention for this championship fight, is because they won't pick a driver.
That's where I get torn, because I really think they're just going to average Max out of the equation. I think it's going to take a while, but I think come race like 12,
But that's assuming
Max is
Red
going
Bull
to be a
doesn't-
couple, maybe 150 points behind.
I think that's a safe. That's a safe. bet, though.
150
maybe
points
100,
behind.
100.
100 points in the next 8 races? I think
Potentially,
that's
if he keeps
crazy.
coming in 6th, yeah.
No shot.
Yeah.
But
Race winner gets 25 points. How much does 6th get?
Max has won a
I mean,
race. You forget
He
Max.
won a race.
Max has run just as many races this year as Lando Norris.
Yeah, we're 4 races in.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
4 races in, so you're counting him out a little early.
You're counting him out early. What do you mean? That's what this whole argument is.
I'm not-
You're saying race 4 that the guy who's leading the championship is not better than the guy who's in 2nd.
Correct.
Fundamentally, we're looking at the numbers. You're wrong. we call it today. Who wins the championship? Lando Norris. What do you mean?
What does that have to do with Max?
What does that have to do with Max?
What do you?
I'm
it's-
so confused as to what your point is. Rewind. What
Your
is your
point
point?
is- His point
no,
is
I
Max
was
is
talking
out of the
about something
conversation
completely
right now.
separate. Max, I was just saying I don't think he's gonna be in the equation for the championship. I really don't.
I think you're underestimating Max Verstappen.
he didn't. I mean, he
Do,
what?
do.
I'm
Max-
not underestimating a 4-time champion, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. Like, I don't see that car being competitive at all. Like, I mean, yeah, he won that race. Granted, he did a really good job, but like,
How many times can you do that?
yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
If you're Max
I don't know.
Verstappen, I'd say
Potentially endlessly, but like also like
I think Max
That's a
is
big
on
if.
Max. Here's the thing. This is why I'm saying it keeps Max in it, because if Lando and Oscar keep trading race wins for the rest of the year, yes, on average at some point they're gonna, if they're 1-2 and they just keep switching who's 1-2 for the rest of the year, great. That's wonderful. That means they're gonna fly with it, both in the constructors and in the drivers is just gonna be between the two of them. That's not what's happening. You're consistently having other drivers finish second, finish third, and that's where they're going to get in trouble. Because it's not just you two fighting at the front, because your drivers, a driver,
Lando had
drivers
one
are still...
off race.
I'm not basing it off of this race. I'm saying in general this season I've seen more mistakes from Lando Norris than I have from Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri makes one mistake.
I think Jason
made
has the
one
reaction
mistake.
to this that we all have right now.
I think the
But I
not
think-
basing it off of one race is a crazy take because it's exactly what's happening.
No, I
he's
gave you
fine.
examples from this race, but I can give you examples from other races.
Do it right now.
From this season,
Yes.
Lando went off first. That's the first one.
What, in Australia?
In Australia. Then Oscar
Yeah, but he
followed
saved
him.
it.
Yeah, he
and then
recovered.
Oscar went off
Oscar
and then didn't save it.
Beached it.
Hold on.
Oh.
I'm pulling up the stats since you so
The
obviously want
stats.
to know the stats.
Who has more points?
All right.
Scoreboard.
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 Honestly,
Scoreboard.
we haven't even started talking about the race yet, and you're already. We spent 40
Scoreboard.
minutes debating if Lando Norris is good. Obviously, he
He's
is.
good. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying
He's
Oscar's
just-
better. That's it. That is my entire point of this argument.
All right,
I think Oscar's better.
all right.
But we will see in 20 races time.
It is. It's like a prediction. I mean,
It's basically just me predicting.
yeah,
That's it.
obviously.
That's all I'm
No,
doing.
and it's like, and again, I sit here thinking like
You're
I
attacking
don't.
me for my prediction.
Oh, now
guys.
the A word is being used.
Oh boy, here we go.
Because I was about to say I don't disagree with you, but I can't rightfully sit in this chair and be like it's hard to pinpoint on race 4. I don't know.
Right. It's hard for anyone to pinpoint a race 4 or before the season.
I
There's
just-
20 races to go.
I can't have a strong enough
But-
opinion. Like I can't. Like it's just it doesn't feel right away.
Okay.
That's because
That
you don't
makes
hate
sense.
Lando Norris like she does.
And again, I guess that's a little hypocritical
Yeah, it is
because
a little
I
hypocritical.
did say that
For
I
me,
don't
though,
think
too.
Max is going to win the championship when he's still only like a handful of points away. But
so
like
how can you tell me this? You can say that Max Verstappen is not going to win the championship after 4 races in, but I can't tell you that Lando Norris
this is
won't.
a podcast. We're supposed to make this interesting.
Exactly.
But you're criticizing. You're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite because you're telling me that I can't say that Lando Norris won't win the championship. But on the other hand of this, you're telling me that Max Verstappen won't win the championship.
Yes, because engagement.
So tell me you're lying.
I'm not lying. I mean, I don't know. It's just we can see a blatant problem with the Red Bull, whereas I don't see a blatant problem with Lando Norris.
Which is why the blatant problem. Wait. You don't see a problem with Lando?
He said
I
he doesn't
really
see
don't.
a
It's
blatant
Only like he
problem.
made
on the
3
rainiest
mistakes
race
this
weekend of the year, he went off track.
He made
this
3 mistakes this weekend.
what in battling with another driver?
He started like this far out of his grid box.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
like
I mean-
F1 driver 101, man.
Yeah, but the car doesn't have reverse gear.
Yeah.
I mean,
It does, but you
It
can't.
oh, it
does.
does.
On the
Well, you
grid.
can't use it. That's what
Yeah,
I
you
meant. Is you
can't
can't
reverse
use
on
it
the
on the
grid.
grid, right?
Yep, that's.
I mean, again, yeah, it's a goofy goob, but I mean, I don't know. When I get to a stoplight, I don't hit that white line every time. That was a bad comparison because they're professional race car drivers, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I think we just spent 20 minutes arguing over something that's completely conspiracy.
It is that's fine. Because again, my conspiracy is that I genuinely could potentially think that I don't think Max is in the equation to win the championship, not of his own volition.
No.
But that is,
I
'cause
think-
of course not. I mean,
I
what
think-
driver would not want to be in? You know, he's capable of anything.
I think Max is in contention, but if the Red Bull continues to get worse and the McLaren continues to get better, then it's no question he's out of the race. My thinking is that if Red Bull stays this bad, if they don't get any worse, and the McLaren doesn't get any better, if we're seeing this kind of gap, Max on a good weekend with a good setup is still good enough to pull over the win over the.
Yeah, you do have that wild card. Because
And
again, we
because-
literally saw it last weekend.
And because we've seen McLaren have their fumbles, not just this year, but in the past, of team order, pit stop, that kind of stuff, it's entirely possible for Max to pull out 5 race wins this year. And when you're 4 races in and this is our first repeat winner, then like it's still 100% possible. Even George Russell could still win this.
Yes, he can.
He's
Come
not
on.
going to, in my opinion. But
to roll back the tapes, I was gonna say you literally just said he can.
I said in my opinion he won't.
Yes.
But it's not that he can't.
I mean, it's
true.
I'm not saying Lando Norris
possible for
can't
Lance Stroll
win the
to
world
be
championship. I said he
20,
won't win the world
25
championship. There is a
Formula One world
difference.
champion.
Well, you also said he doesn't deserve the world championship.
I agree. I think to win a world championship, you got to drive like a world champion, and I don't think he is.
You gotta finish first. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
is gentlemanly warfare even acceptable in Formula One anymore? Like, look at
Gentlemanly warfare.
Michael Schumacher raced. He was a jerk off.
Yeah, he was
What do you
horrible.
mean?
Yeah, so was Max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Being nice doesn't get you anywhere.
But like, think back. Where it's the
I'm
best.
trying to just think back to this Grand Prix.
Yeah, we can think back. Let's go back to this Grand
Let's
Prix.
get back to the Grand Prix in Bahrain.
What about this Grand Prix? Would you like to talk about?
Well,
Ollie Behrman did a good job.
He sure did. He started
did.
20th.
20 P10.
And he
But
ended up
Lewis
with
somehow got driver of the day. I would like to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't understand that.
I think that's just Lewis Hamilton favoritism.
More than likely. I mean, it's just his fans. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like...
Lewis Army's strong, man.
That's like when they first rolled it out, Max Verstappen was the most popular up-and-coming driver.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he won it like 5 races in a row or something ridiculous. Even if he like finished 3rd or 4th, he still got driver of the day.
Yeah. None
because
of
nobody else wanted to vote but Max's fans.
I don't think any of the driver of the days this year have made sense.
Wonder if he keeps.
I've gotta go back.
I'm
somewhere.
surprised Reddit doesn't just nuke that stuff and just be like, let's vote Bortoletto every single time.
Hey,
Like,
wasn't
you know what I mean?
Latifi was almost voted for his last Latifi driver of the day?
See, but that's kind of sentimental. Like, I mean, I don't know if that's just like nuking it. You know what I mean?
So, okay, hold on.
He
So
didn't win it.
Lando won in Australia. I'll give him that one. That one makes sense. Kimmy,
Oh, driver of the... Okay.
yeah, Kimmy in China didn't make too much sense.
Where did he finish?
Did he finish 4th?
No.
So he's either 4th or 5th, I think.
Kimmy?
I thought
I
so.
think so.
No, he was 6th.
Oh, wow.
And he started 8th. I just think that race particular for Kimi Antonelli, we saw better in Australia and we saw better today.
Yeah.
And
Australia was the
that
one I
was
think
the
I remember
one where he was
audibly
like-
saying on the pod. I was like, he should have won
He
it.
should have won it. And then Japan, Yuki,
Well, of course.
which, okay, fine, makes sense because of Japanese Grand Prix, but he didn't do anything
He came in
special.
12th, yeah.
Yeah, he came in 12th. He qualified 15th.
To be fair, looking at that Grand Prix though, nothing happened. He was the only storyline. I mean,
And Max.
Sure.
well, Max, but Max started pole 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that didn't happen. That wasn't great. It was great. But like on an entertainment
Next you're gonna
side,
say it was just the car.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I had to throw it out there. Anyways,
Good.
We're on a
and then
slippery
Lewis
slope
in
right
Bahrain.
now.
I like Lewis now. I think Lewis did a decent job today, but I don't see why Lewis was driver of the day.
I think it should. I really do think it should have been.
He started
Ollie.
9th, finished 5th,
Yeah.
and it was mostly due to people that just dropped off behind him, I guess. In my opinion, I don't think he ran that good of a race.
Yeah.
But driver of the day is a fan vote. A fan vote
Mm-hmm.
that 95% of the time last year went to Lando Norris. So I really don't care.
Fan vote's funny because like I actually mentioned the Reddit thing because there was a guy in NASCAR, I think in like 2014, for the All-Star race. You can vote in a driver, and Reddit sponsored a car with Dogecoin,
I do.
and then
remember that.
voted the guy into the race. He was so bad. Like I can't remember. It was Josh Wise was the driver, but he was like on pace. He was like 27th or something like
That's
that, and
crazy.
only like the top 15 get in.
Yeah.
So I'm saying is like I'm surprised Reddit. I don't understand what the community's like for F1 on Reddit, but or I don't know X, whatever these like
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't just like hop in there every week and be like,
They
let's just
probably
ruin this
try.
for everybody.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously F1 probably recognizes
Like,
this.
imagine how hilarious it would have been driver of the day Checo last year in Abu Dhabi.
Checo
Rex on the
Perez.
first lap. Because like what
Who was
Crofty has
driver
to
of the
say
day
it on air, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was
Yeah.
driver of the day in Abu Dhabi?
Last year?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Here, wait, I'll look it up.
Was it somebody?
Wait, what's the trophy you get for driver of the day?
You don't get a trophy. You get a trophy at the end of the year if you have the most driver of the days.
Oh, it was Oscar Piastri.
Did he win?
Wait. Driver of the day. Oh. Wait, no. Leclerc. That's what
Oh,
it
fair
says.
enough.
Gets your
So-
vote coming from 19th to
Fair
the
enough,
podium.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, fair
Bang.
enough.
Carlos Sainz did get 10% of the vote though. Oh wait, no, I just literally wanted Checo. Yeah, I'm losing it.
We're all losing.
Let it be known, chat and also viewers, that we watched the Masters before this podcast.
Yeah, we were
and
supposed to start like recording hours ago.
It was
but
supposed
we
to be
ended up watching the
5.
Masters
It was
instead.
probably going to be more like 5:50 or something like that. But the Masters went on, and we have started at what was like 7:30 is when I think we started.
Something like that.
This is late hours for the
So it's
podcast.
late
This is like
hours.
late night. It's late night TV.
It's late night television.
TVMA.
Um,
Start mouthing off.
I want
You
to
know
talk
who has the
about.
most driver of the days?
Oh,
Isn't it?
is it Lando?
No, it's like since it's been.
Is it
initiated.
Max?
Max?
Yeah, Max by a clear margin, 41.
When was the last time Max?
How
won
many
Driver
did
of
he
the Day? Brazil?
win in 2023?
Did he
though?
win in Brazil?
I don't know, but the guy in
Like
second
none?
is Vettel with only 23.
Wow.
So like Max is clear and far ahead of everybody else in driver of the day.
2023. Oh my God! Yeah, he won like none in 2023.
Because
Yeah,
he was
but
dominating.
he
Everybody was
so
tired of it.
dominant.
But he was so good. Okay, he won it in Spa, obviously,
He won it in Brazil, right?
and then he won it in. Let me see.
I'm pretty sure he won in Brazil
Canada, Monaco. Oh, he won it in Miami.
in 2022.
No, in 2023.
Oh, 23.
Oh, he started 9th, I guess. So I guess that makes sense. And
Eh.
then Saudi Arabia, he won. I don't know. He doesn't say. Wait.
But Max has gotten them for like in the more recent history. I feel like more standout performances.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, not to call out Lando, but Lando, other McLaren drivers, Charles Leclerc, like let's say the fan favorite drivers, they get it for like no reason. Like Lando
Fiat
Norris will
got it in
start
China in
second, finish
2016.
second,
Oh my gosh.
which is a great result.
Lando got it, by the way, in Brazil, 2023.
No, 2024.
Oh,
Brazil.
2024?
I think it
I'm
was
sure
Max.
he got it. Yeah.
It
he
had to be.
totally
There's no
deserved
shot
it.
it wasn't, right?
Let me check.
It's
'cause
Lewis
that'll be
Hamilton.
easy to find.
There's no shot it wasn't.
It had to have been him. I mean, it would have been funny if they trolled. Just didn't. Oh my God! Why is this list not chronological?
Just control F that bad boy.
Sao Paulo. Wait. Oh, this is 2023. Why? I clicked on 2024. You morons! Oh my God! What the? Oh wait, you're so right. Sao
you go. I got
Paulo.
the
Oh, it
wiki.
was. Yeah, it was Max.
It was
Max
Max.
by 40% of the vote.
Yeah,
That's
well,
really high.
But that's my point. Is like I think because people, it's voter fatigue. It's the same thing as like
Yeah.
and if like big awards in other sports like the NFL or the NBA or whatever. It's like when you're winning over and over and over and over again, no one's ever gonna vote you driver of the day, especially because they know you also have the best car, so it's
Yeah.
easier for you to win.
Yeah.
But when you're in a situation like he was at the end of the year where he's not as dominant and the car's not as good and there's a clear best car in the McLarens for that point in the season, and he pulls out a 17th to first in the rain, that's when he's going to get the driver of the day.
Yeah.
Which is why he's kind of maintained, like he gets like a couple a year or something like that at this point. But it's like he probably got them more in the past because, again, people were tired of seeing Lewis win. And so even though Lewis won the race, if Max is still on the podium, he still drove a good race.
Driver
know.
of the day.
Driver of the day.
That's true. Yeah.
So, and the same thing happens. I think the same thing now, like
Lewis
with
would have his 8th if you would win the championship by driver of the day.
yeah, yeah.
And Lando would probably have at least 2.
Well, people also started hating Max in 2021 and won't vote for him
Exactly.
after that.
Yeah,
But he still
that's-
holds
Which
the
it
record.
wasn't his fault,
Which-
but
yeah.
okay.
Holds the record.
We're not talking about that today.
Nor.
There's a lot of other things we got to talk about. I do want to bring this conversation back to the race. I want to talk about Mercedes, and more importantly, your Tier 1 driver, George Russell, which I did say multiple times this weekend as I was yelling at the TV for him to block whoever was behind him, whenever it was.
You are a hater. You said you weren't. And guess what? He sure is. So I'll stop saying it now. Well, I have to
You
remind
can keep saying it.
P2
If he
used to DRS.
He's killing
George.
it in fantasy, too.
hell yeah,
Okay.
he is.
I'll give you this, okay? If he finishes the first half of the season till the summer break without going lower than P5 in the Mercedes that he has, if he finishes the race, he's higher than 5th.
In total points, you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
If he finishes the race, he's higher than P5. Does that make sense? Like, if he,
okay.
as long as he doesn't like get knocked out or DNF'd or whatever
Yep.
with a car failure, If he finishes the race and he's fifth or higher for every race until the summer break, I will call him Tier 1 driver George Russell for the rest of the year.
Just for the rest of the year?
For the
I
rest
mean,
of
I
his
respect
career.
that. That car is consistent.
That
I feel
car
like
is
it should be in the
consistent.
top
I feel like
five
it's
every
better than
race.
the Red Bull.
What?
I feel like it's better than
No,
the Red Bull.
I would agree with that.
Absolutely. If there is anyone that doesn't think the Mercedes is faster or better than the Red Bull, you've lost your mind.
I think
I
the
don't think
only-
you watched the same 4 races that I did.
I think the only problem with that like estimate is that for some reason one of these races like Ferrari's going to go off and then McLaren will still just be as good and then he'll somehow have to scrape a P5. It's
But I'm
going to
saying
happen.
P5
It's
or
like
higher.
well, yeah, I'm just saying is that but like you still have to then contend
you
with Max
George?
Verstappen, you have to contend with I don't know, maybe even Kimi. Like
Because you have to contend with Max and not the Red Bulls.
yes.
Pierre Gasly.
The Yuki Tsunoda masterclass coming
Yuki
up.
Tsunoda
I
masterclass.
mean, I don't
Lance
know.
No, I
Stroll,
think-
F1 world champ.
Oh my God.
It's still possible,
I think-
guys.
Obviously, I think it's hard because there's a difference between they have the best car and they are the best team.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I think, for example, that the Mercedes is the best team, but there will be several races where Ferrari has the best car.
Mhm.
Right? So it's like, I think Mercedes is much more predictable in that, like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, which could help their chances of being the best team than McLaren, for example. But McLaren has by far the quickest car. There's not a chance. They are in pure pace at least 0.3, if not half a second faster than anybody else. Which is why I get on Lando so much, because you have the fastest car. There's no reason you shouldn't be finishing 1-2 every race. Right? Like, Max had the fastest car in 2023. People got annoyed of him winning races. He won 19 races. No. Yeah. Whatever. However many he got. He won most of the races that year. He was consistent. I think that's what's missing for Lando, in my eyes, to be worthy of a world championship, is consistency. He's not consistent.
I get that.
And I think Oscar is more consistent than he is. Not to go back to that point. Let's not go back to that point.
Again,
you can rebuttal if you'd like to, but we're not going to.
we give credit a lot, like or not credit, but it's tough to like discredit Checo during those years because he filled that P2 role consistently for like what 2 years probably in a
year
row,
and a
year and a half,
give
kind
or
of.
take. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I mean, especially it's just like I really have a tough time with it because 2016 is so hard to look at when you had two guys that were equal and they won the championship and they won the constructors, right? But like it was tough.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a tough
Do you
deal.
see it going there with the McLarens?
I don't know because it's a tough like because we get these papaya rules and then like I don't understand. I don't know the history well enough to know how Mercedes policed them back then. Like
Yeah.
it seemed like it was a couple of hotheads, you know, whereas Oscar, again, I mean, you brought it up and I agree with it. He's so much more level-headed. And I
Yeah.
think Lando is level-headed too. Lando's just more personable.
I think. Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. Like,
I think Lando has the added, I don't want to say downside, but the added thing that he's also very critical of himself. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think when you're in a sport that's so high pressure, so high intensity, and you're going up against someone who's your teammate, who's so level-headed, who may be critical of himself, but is not critical of himself publicly, and therefore doesn't catch all the heat, and is still extremely consistent, extremely fast, is in his third season. This is his 50th race.
Yeah.
It's his third season in Formula One. I think that's where the end of the year, those last 4 races, that's where it gets tough. Because that's the same
Yeah.
thing that happened. Like, ultimately, that's what happened last year. Things got tough. Max got tougher. You know?
yeah.
Not to say Lando, like, threw in the towel, but Max was able to pull ahead because he arguably was more consistent. And he held out. He was tougher. He didn't give up. And I see those qualities in Oscar Piastri.
I think it's another tough deal because it's like they are not as dominant as that 2016 Mercedes team was.
Yeah.
You have Red Bull with Max and you have Mercedes and kind of nipping at your heels, which kind of goes back to what you were saying is like
gotta
one
be
mistake
perfect.
and you do have that P2 up for contention from pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Potentially P1. I
got-
mean, the pace is better.
Yeah.
You know, the pack is much closer together contention-wise. So I don't know if they're going to have a problem like 2016 Mercedes does or did. But
Yeah.
it could happen. I don't know.
I think there's like one mistake and there's 4 people waiting to nip at your heels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and you know.
Minimum. And
Yes.
that's considering like that's saying McLaren makes a mistake, so you got 2 drivers that are like not at the top of their form.
Mm-hmm.
You now have Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, because you can't count a 7-time world champion as much as I would love to. Max Verstappen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kimi Antonelli is shown to be very strong.
Yeah, he's got-
and
yep.
then on the off chance that it's really that bad, like it's truly horrible, then you have those back of the pack guys that run in the top 10 very consistently, like your Pierre Gasly's, like your
hungry
Alex
guys, the
Albons,
guys who are
those guys that
hungry.
are very hungry for a win.
Yeah.
They got them. Like, I mean, Pierre got his right. It's not completely out of the question for us to see that this year because I think
Yeah.
they're so close.
You even had a mini
that-
version of it this weekend when Pierre was racing Max.
Yeah.
I mean, you're Pierre Gasly and you have an opportunity to beat Max in a Grand Prix.
Ultimately,
I'm sure
it
in the
came
back
out
of his
tired.
head, he's thinking like, I don't care that I'm in P5. I'm racing for the win, basically.
Yeah.
Because I'm
It has to
showing.
lock on
I'm
that
an
case.
Yeah.
Alpine that until this weekend was dead last.
Yeah.
And I'm racing Max Verstappen for P6. Like I don't care if it's 6th or 10th. It's still a win for me
Yeah.
because
I'm hungry,
yeah,
you know? And
hungry for
fundamentally,
that.
that's a dude who didn't take his job, but like that Red Bull family,
Cost
you
him
know,
his
it
job.
cost him his job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's such a niche though because it's Max, man.
Yeah.
He's
He
killed
gave
so
it-
many careers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
you could say he killed Red Bull.
Gasly
whoa.
said, and
That's
obviously we
bold.
saw like one less lap, and Gasly would have been
Hmm.
ahead of Max. And ultimately, Gasly said he goes, it just came down tire deg. Like at the end of the day, like that last lap, he had more tires than I did,
Yeah.
and I couldn't hold on.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if Max planned it that way.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's not like
I
Max
was
knows
listening
he's
to his
going to come
radio
in.
the whole time.
Yeah.
They were talking about it. They
Yeah.
were like, you have, you know, tire wise, whatever it is, but they were also talking about like engine modes. Like we have this much left in the tank.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have enough for one push lap.
Especially-
you decide when you want that lap to be.
Yeah.
And Max chose the last lap.
Of course, which is obviously I'm sure he's even looking forward to it. It's like it's not like 5th place is close enough that he could get both, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to save it up to the last chance, and then he won't have a chance to get it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Max is that smart, and he's looking at big picture too. So sure, he gets out of the car and he's pissed off, but like
Yeah.
it's still P6, not P7,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day. But yeah.
I want to raise a question.
Mm.
How close is Kimi to being another guy who's right there fighting for it?
This
Because
season.
Yeah.
because Kimi finished outside the points today.
Mm-hmm.
But he was there or thereabouts the whole race and just got unlucky,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
ultimately. With the timing of his pit stop and the way it all funneled out, he ended up hitting again right after.
Could be next
Mm-hmm.
race.
It could be. It depends.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Mercedes question, I
Did
think.
you
It is.
did you expect him to be this good? Because I didn't.
Out of all the rookies, he has killed it.
He was
Yeah.
expected to be
He's
the
also
best.
talked as higher than any other rookie. Like some other rookies had more experience, like Bierman,
yeah.
but like nobody talked.
Well,
about
look at the
Bierman.
car, though,
I mean,
man.
I wanna-
I
based
mean-
on last
I want to
season,
give
I would
a
say
take,
that-
and you tell me hot or not.
Sure.
Okay. Kimi Antonelli is this year's rookie Oscar Piastri.
I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
shaping
true.
up that way.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's
It's like the
That's
standout
Makes a lot of
rookie
sense.
that
Yeah.
okay, he's better than we like. I don't know if better than we thought, but they both came in with a lot of hype.
Mm-hmm.
Kimmy's with the fact that like like super license and like he's so young, he's 18, we gotta get special permission, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Just turned 18, then he had like the driver's license thing. Oscar coming off of like contract stuff with Alpine and then McLaren, so they both had a little bit of that pressure to perform to be great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's kind of shaping up to be very similar seasons for the
I
two
agree.
of
Oh,
them.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
I think Kimi
So,
looks
I
like
don't
a true, like he looks like he belongs in a Mercedes.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
opinion.
You know, he's Italian, so I want to see him in red. I'll leave it at
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if
We'll
that's
see.
ever going to
Hey,
happen.
Lewis retired. Now, Toto won't let him go that easy.
Nah.
No, not at all.
No, because
Not again.
Toto doesn't.
No,
does-
not again.
Lewis
Not
will
again.
leave.
No. Toto doesn't have a backup option.
this is actually a great
Vest.
segue into
Your
what
revs.
that like this what I want to talk about because I don't want this to get too long.
Mm.
Not to bring it back to Max, but I do want to bring it back to
Goodness.
Max. Max had a very very tough race, and then a lot of people saw Helmut Marko get absolutely yelled at by Max's manager Raymond.
I actually did not
Max
see
Ferrari
this.
in 2
Was
years?
this on socials?
So I don't know if they like filmed it.
Okay. Was it like on the broadcast?
They talked about it. No, I don't think it was filmed. I don't think they talked about it later, and like there's articles written about it and stuff, but not. I don't know that it was like filmed at all.
Okay.
But I bring this point because we've talked about this in the past. Who is replaceable and who isn't? Because as much as we can sit here and say like, oh, Max is so unhappy, Max is going to leave, Max is loyal, but he also wants the best car. You also, like, where is he going to go?
Mercedes.
Red Bull has a real culture problem if Max leaves.
Oh, yeah. Red Bull is a
Bull
back of the
already
pack
does.
team.
I was gonna say they
They're
already
done.
have a culture.
I'm not
Red Bull
even
is the
saying
back
that.
of the pack
I'm
team
not
without
even
Max
saying
Verstappen.
performance. Who do the fans root for? Max.
I'm
What
not
do
a
the
Red Bull
Max fans
fan. I'm
do
a
if you
Max
lose
fan.
teams? Let me ask you this. I think you'll say yes, but like Max moves to like Aston Martin. You buy an Aston Martin merch?
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying is Red Bull has a real culture problem if they lose Max.
I think they
Nobody
already
in their
do.
system has the popularity or the stardom that he does. Yuki's loved, but he's not like.
He's loved because he deserved the move.
Yeah, and also
Not
he's just
because
he's a
he's
nice
a
guy.
nice
I
guy.
mean, he's a nice
Red
guy.
Bull
Yeah,
fans,
solid
Max
race car
fans.
driver. You know, will he ever win a world championship? No, but like,
Loyalty comes from performance.
yeah,
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
comes from
And
performance, stability,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but also being if you don't have that, or if you have that but only in a degree, the passion that people see
There's
and
no passion.
like how lovable, like for lack of a better word, how lovable you are. Like people love how nice Charles Leclerc is. People love how nice Lando Norris is. They have created a fandom around them. If Charles Leclerc leaves Ferrari, there's a lot less people that are going to leave Ferrari as fans than I think if like Max left Red Bull. But you're still going to see people leave and follow him
Yeah.
because we're in an era where fundamentally there are less team fans than there are driver fans because of the way social media works and the way online presences work and the way personas work, right? So, I don't know. Food for thought.
I understand that.
What did we not talk about for the race? We kind of like talked about people's races
I
individually. Obviously,
mean,
we didn't
Red
go through, like,
Bull's
the whole
pit
race.
lane not working
Ooh,
at all.
Yeah.
Interesting.
that was
and
rough.
Then they got it working, and
They had
messed
another
up the pit
issue.
stop.
Green means stop everyone.
I
Bound to
wonder
happen.
not to put all their pit stop woes on one person, but I wonder if the twins that Christian Horner blamed last week are back or not. Because last week
possible.
Christian Horner said he basically on live television blamed his pit stop failure on these twins whose dad was sick and they weren't there that weekend. They put in their backup team because the twins left. My question is, are the twins back? Because if they're not, I need those twins back, please. 2 weeks of
Well,
bad pit stops from a team who historically has had zero pit stop issues.
There was only really one though that was actually like a person's fault, right?
Yes, the right front
Yeah.
on the second pit stop. The other one, I just don't know what it was. And I feel like there was a lot of that this weekend.
Well, yeah, DRS.
like-
I mean,
oh yeah,
The DRS failures, the tracking issues, like
George
I don't
Russell
know.
appearing in an ocean.
did any of you think George was getting a penalty? Because I remember texting Steven being like, he's not getting a penalty.
I didn't think so.
No.
No, I heard
Yeah.
I saw
I think that
the whole shebang.
I think the commentators framed it as a slam dunk penalty, but as soon as you heard George's take on it, you knew it wasn't going to be a penalty. He was like, I didn't even click the DRS button. He goes, I literally clicked the radio button to talk to my team, and my DRS flap opens
That's
behind
so
me.
weird.
And then
Like,
he
there's
lifts.
very few
He lifted.
failures.
Someone sabotaged
There's
George.
very few failures. Like how?
I mean, it's magnetic, right, or radio controlled, so it's
Not
like
radio.
No. So there's
It's
an
a button.
actuator above the wing. That's that little like bubble on
Yeah.
the wing that pulls the string for the DRS.
yeah, but
But that is in no way.
that's not radio
related-
controlled. Like the button you press
I don't know.
activates the actuator and then it pulls
Maybe.
it. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, radio waves are not flawless.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes
True.
they make mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Do you
I
know the
understand
amount
that's
of
like
times my
goofy
AirTag has
kinda
messed
take.
up my hotel card?
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go.
I had to get my card replaced twice because I kept on putting it in my wallet with my AirTag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny though, because like we've talked about this so many times with other things that are more FIA controlled. Let's say like the drain covers and the grass on fire that we talked about in China.
Oh yeah.
We're in a billion-dollar sport where we see a lot of tech failures. I think it's just so. I think we expect so much, but it's very human. Like,
Well, the thing is
makes it
too. I mean,
good.
when you're the
Yeah.
when you're the best, when you're the cutting edge, you're always gonna have problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're the cutting edge. You're just not proven.
That and
Well-
also like we enjoy failures. That's why college football is better than the NFL.
Yeah. I
It's
think-
a bunch of good old boys just hanging out.
there's also like the
Boys being boys.
Yeah.
the cars are so reliable now that you see more of these issues. Like,
Yes.
how many more times do you think this would have happened if, like, an engine didn't, like, spontaneously combust first? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you can have these small, let's say, call them smaller issues more often when you're not having engine failures and stuff like that because you're getting far enough into the race for this to be a problem. It's also, like, the skid block stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that's just miscalculation and stuff
Engine-
like that. But there's also a part of that that's like we're getting far enough in the race where we're finishing the race, so this becomes an issue. Like for a team like Stake, like you DNF'd a lot, man.
Yeah.
And now you weren't even in the points, so your car probably wasn't even being expected.
I also learned to your point actually that every team has scored a point so far, which is kind of
Correct.
crazy.
Yeah. Pretty early.
Yeah.
yeah,
fairly early,
4
especially-
races in Alpine and Stake are tied for 6th or 6 points, which is 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
But
Pretty crazy.
final thoughts before we move into predictions. Very
Final
rapid
thoughts.
fired.
I think
because
my
we
thoughts are
weren't over it.
drained.
Decent race. Unfortunate result. George is tier 1.
There you go.
Mm.
He put it
Take
into
it.
simple terms.
Wait, you said unfortunate result?
I want Ferrari to win.
Ew.
That means every
Okay.
Grand Prix is going to be an unfortunate result, Jason.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was mean.
Yeah, well, I don't think every Grand Prix. I think like 21 out of the 24. They might get a couple in there. Like 3 races, something like that. Between the two of them.
They just got to beat Mercedes' pace. That's all it is, in my opinion.
Beat the tier
Yeah.
1 driver.
McLaren
yeah.
will screw themselves.
You,
So,
what is the saying?
I don't know.
the friend of your friend is, or are you talking
No,
about that?
I was just talking about
The
luck.
enemy of
I
my
mean, you
enemy is
make
my
your
friend.
own
No,
luck,
the hot
but like
dog
oh,
isn't a sandwich.
you.
As bad as you want.
There
it
was
to
something
be.
else, like a different way I was gonna say it, but basically, you make your own luck, right? You've
You
got to
can't
be
bake
there.
your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. Well,
You
no.
got-
I think you got it right, Marina.
No,
I just don't know how it works.
I think it's just
Marina,
no.
you did get it right. That's right.
I got it right. I'm
messing.
just that's not the one I was trying to say, but it means the same thing. It's you make your own luck. I mean, you've got to be there to pick up the pieces when everything else
Yeah.
falls apart. We're talking about it right now, or today, when Lando Norris wasn't there, or George Russell was right. Ferrari has got to be in that position.
Again, it's that nipping at your
Ferrari's
heels
got to
kinda
be
thing.
that like
Yeah.
the person. They've got to be the George Russell of the last several races, which is I'm right there on your ass. If you make a mistake, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pounce. And Ferrari's not there yet. They're
But they
very
will be.
close, but I think they will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they get their upgrades right, but they're very close.
They
And
don't-
depending on the race,
Yeah.
they will be as well.
Yeah.
That's those two. I think will swap throughout the year
I
of
agree.
like depending on the race and the racetrack and stuff. All right,
Yep.
predictions. For
Prediction
Jeddah.
time
Rapid
Whoop,
fire.
for
whoop.
Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
Rapid fire.
Okay. I see McLaren being dominant again. I think they're going to be good in the desert. I think they're going to always be good in the desert for some reason. I don't know why. I'm going to have Oscar go back-to-back. I'm going to have Lando steps it up, comes P2.
Okay.
And then P3, I'm going to have Leclerc. I'm going to have Ferrari getting hopefully a little bit of a spark.
Okay.
That's my goal.
Okay.
I guess that
Steven?
leaves it to me.
Oh, Jason.
So me too. It's gonna be Norris P1 though this time because he's a good driver. George P2 just for fun, and it feels weird to say Oscar P3. Almost doesn't make
It
sense.
does sound weird.
But because that would be exact repeat, except you swap Norris and Oscar. So
That
yeah,
will be-
Oscar P3. Why not?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Steven?
Yeah, I have Lando winning as well. I think Lando wins, though. I think Oscar gets second. I think Oscar gets pole,
Oh, okay.
but I think
Okay.
Lando just gets it right. T1. I think P3 George Russell.
Okay.
Interesting. Jeddah's hard. It's a very hard track. It's a very hot track. last year, Piastri, in what I think wasn't as strong a form, took the cake over Norris in Jeddah. So we'll go for a back-to-back Oscar win. But I will put Lando P2. And I'm torn between Leclerc or Max for P3. I'm going to go Leclerc P3, but I think Max will be a P4.
So you think Red Bull's going to improve with the car?
I think Jeddah is a driver confidence track, and I think Max, as long as the setup is okay,
Yeah, he'll do
Max
good.
will do well.
Yeah, he will.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. He's won there a couple times.
Won there last
So,
year.
won there last year.
Where
Yeah.
hasn't he won?
Actually, good question.
Actually, that's a good question.
Has he not won anywhere?
There are tracks where he's never won.
Well, yeah, but like, are we talking tracks from like the 90s? Or, like...
No, but like if you look
He's
at
never won
there are
Daytona, I
tracks
can
on,
tell you that.
there are tracks on this year's calendar I think he's never won before. We'll,
I don't know.
We'll
Throwback
bombshell.
Thursday
Well,
idea.
yeah. Let's pause. We'll move on from that question.
There you go.
We'll think
Steven's
about
calling for a
that
timeout.
at an
So
extra timeout. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next Monday at 11:30 Eastern Time. In the meantime, check out our socials at Let's Lay Us on Instagram and TikTok. Bye, guys.
see ya.
Bye.